How do you take an art class online? That is one of the most common questions that I get asked when people find out that I teach an AP Drawing and an AP 2D Design course solely over the computer. My students are from all over the United States, and we meet just like this through video on the computer. So what I wanted to do today was to give you a little bit of behind the scenes information as to how an online art class actually works. So if you're considering taking one, you can feel like you're a little bit more informed before taking the leap. So I do have experience teaching both in person and online, and there really are not a lot of differences. So yes, obviously I cannot reach through the computer screen and touch a student's artwork, but in reality, even in my in-person art classes, I'm hands-off. I'll demonstrate and be very helpful, but I don't ever touch students' artwork. So every mark that is on their page, that's on their sculpture, in their clay, was made by their own two hands. So in that sense, the computer really is not a barrier. So a couple of different ways that content is delivered and how we interact with each other. So each week, students get new content and it's delivered in the following ways. So sometimes it's a video just like this that I pre-record for them, giving them examples, giving them some art lessons, and explaining the assignment to them. We also have a live call every week where we discuss what we're working on, look at each other's artwork, answer questions, and give feedback. They also get instruction through downloadable worksheets, through other videos that I've collected and curated for them. The really other wonderful thing about taking an art class online that a lot of times people forget about is when something's on the computer, so even when a work of art is on the computer, we can play with it and manipulate it in so many ways. So I'm still able to take a student's artwork and show them some different ideas. So they're sending a photograph or a scan of their artwork to me. Once I have that photo, once I have that digital image of their work, there's so many things that I can do to it in giving them advice. So I can go ahead and on my computer, I can recrop that image and show them what it might look like if they just slightly change the cropping of their composition. I can flip the image in all different directions. So a lot of times, even if they're working with an abstract piece, we can really look at and discuss. So how does which way is the right way up really affect the overall composition and piece? On the computer, I can play with color. I can add a new layer and do a little bit of a drawing on top to give them some information along that. We can play with the juxtaposition of different images. So there's a whole lot of things that via the computer, I can actually do really, really simply and really, really easily the same thing that I would do in a class. So in the actual class setting, if I was teaching in person, I'd be taking tracing paper and putting it over top of the student's artwork, drawing on top, making marks on top, having them play with other colors. I'm just going ahead and doing the same thing on the computer. The students also have access to my email, which I check very regularly. So at any point during the week, even when we're not doing our live call, they can send questions, anything that they're struggling on, and sometimes I'll present them with a video, sometimes I do an audio recording for them, sometimes it's just a typed written response depending on how complex the question or the problem is. As well as I can go out into the internet and pull some examples to help guide them in the right direction. So it is very possible as far as how instruction takes place for art to be taught online. It's just a little bit of a mindset tweak. So some things that are different and that some students might struggle with. So for the most part, an online learning environment is a little bit more free and flexible, which can be good but can also be bad. So the good part of the freedom and the flexibility is for students that are really motivated, that are excited about what they want to do, and they just need the feedback and the guidance that I'm going to provide. For students that are not so great with time management aren't incredibly self-motivated, they are going to struggle a little bit more on an online learning environment because I'm not standing over them reminding them to get back onto task. So that is something that you want to be honest with about yourself if you're a student, or about your child if you're a parent thinking about online learning. All of my content is broken down into daily activities to really help students break the task apart so that they're not waiting to do all of it last minute. They get feedback every week. They get an updated grade report every week emailed to them just to make sure that we're all on the same page as to what work they've turned in and what work they still need to turn in. The beauty of the flexibility of it is if you love to travel, you can continue to travel as long as you have internet access. You can really build it around your schedule, what works for you as to when your child is doing the. So I hope that you found this information helpful. It gave you a little bit more insight as to what it would be like to take an AP course online. And if you're interested, go ahead and click on the links below, which will lead you to getting more information about the AP courses that I'm teaching.